Hi, I'm Allison Ellis of Floral Artistry, and today I wanted to talk to you about the inevitable question that every florist gets, whether you've been in the business for 40 years or you've been in the business for 10 minutes. This is a question that you have gotten or will get repeatedly throughout your career, and that is, are these flowers expensive? So I love this question. It definitely is something that I have heard countless times over 20 years in the business. And it's something that is so important, I think, for us as designers, as salespeople, to get a handle on. So if someone says to me, are these flowers expensive? And they're bringing me a picture of an all calla bouquet or an all orchid bouquet, and it's lush and it's cascading, it's pretty easy that the answer is, well, yeah, like you've definitely picked some of the more expensive flowers. But when someone says to me, I really just want beautiful flowers, this is my color palette, I'm happy to use flowers that are less expensive. Now, they don't know what that means. They don't know what they're talking about in any specific way, like that means carnations or that means, 3 roses instead of 8 roses, whatever the case may be. But what they mean is they don't want to spend a lot of money on their flowers, or they just want the most amount of flowers for their budget that you can get. Either way, I think it's important for us to field this question well. So when someone says to me, are these flowers expensive? Or I don't really need the most expensive flowers, my response is, well, all flowers are expensive. And I really do feel that that's the truth. I think if you run your business and you do the buying for your business, you know that the cost of flowers, certain flowers has stayed the same, certain flowers have gone up. But certain flowers, what I'm paying for ranunculus and freesia versus what I paid 5 years ago for ranunculus and freesia, it's like a huge difference when you break it down wedding after wedding. So it's not about really what I pay or how many stems of something I get. The truth is you're paying me for my time when you're my customer. You're paying for my design skill and my expertise and my ability to create your vision for your wedding, or for you to create whatever that piece is for this special occasion for your customer. So that's what people are paying for. So time is money, time is valuable, your time is valuable. I hope you see it that way. You could be doing a lot of other things other than making flower arrangements with your time. And so people should be paying you for your design time. And so that means those moments where you're making that bouquet and you're thinking, oh, it just needs a little something. It just needs a couple more roses or callas or whatever it is just to fill it in, because it just doesn't look like $250. Keep in mind that your time is part of what goes into that bouquet, and that when you start overfilling your order, you're telling your customer that your time isn't as valuable as you estimated it to be. And you're telling your design staff that it's okay to start stuffing a couple of extra things in pieces when it doesn't look like the price point that you feel you're delivering. And you're also telling yourself that your time isn't precious, and it really is. So I hope you'll keep that in mind. Really recognize that you're expensive, and you should be. So last week on Flirty Fleurs, I talked a little bit about educating our customers and this sort of race to the bottom when you compete on price. And Seth Godin wrote about this on his blog recently. Seth Godin, you should definitely be following if you don't already. But he wrote something about competing on price being this race to the bottom. And he took it a step further to really clarify what that means. So what if you are in this race to the bottom and you make it to the bottom? Or, as he said, even worse, what if you're number 2? What if you're the second cheapest florist? You're competing on price and you can't be the cheapest, but you are darn close at being the second cheapest florist in town. What does that mean for you? I say it a little tongue-in-cheek, but this is a real life that we run here, a real life business. What would it mean to you if you were the second cheapest florist in town? Would you have more business? Would it be sustainable? Would it be something that in the long run you go, I am so glad that we lowered our prices and started competing on price because this is where the money's at? I'm just curious when you really think about putting it in those black and white terms of if you're competing on price and you get to the bottom or you get to the second place, what does that leave you? It doesn't leave you really any room to be fantastic or special. It leaves you only the room to compete on price. So I would personally put out there that I think if you're really looking for how to stand out in your market or how to really drive home this point that flowers are expensive and they're worth it, the way to do that is to be worth it, is to be really exceptional with your customer service, to make sure that you are constantly weeding out problems that are happening, whether it's the way someone's being serviced on the phone or whether it's the way that someone is being dealt with in your store, that they're not getting that like above and beyond service, whether it's just even the way that your flowers are packaged and delivered. There's got to be something that you do that shows the value from the first interaction to the minute that the flowers are delivered, and then ideally afterwards as well. So I hope this is something that will help you think about how to make yourself worth it and how to really own the fact that you are expensive and that there is nothing wrong with that. Just banish those bad associations with the idea that you are expensive. It's not an insult. Because I do think that we're talking to all different sorts of walks of life here with florists from across the country. Whether you're in a small town or a big city, everyone's looking for their place. And I'm really curious to hear from you. So thanks for tuning in. See you next time.